Everybody, welcome to another video. Welcome back to the channel. And today I want to talk about vaccines. I want to talk about the mandates a little bit, or how people are taking some of this power that they have and they're putting it into effect. Because as we well know, just about a week ago, one of these vaccines was fully approved. And so we're starting to see maybe one or two dangerous precedents being set, as it were. And one of those precedents that I want to talk about that is being set is about a judge, a California judge, who actually placed a strict restriction on a woman from seeing her son, like literally took away her custody, stripped away her custody of her son, right? But before we get into any of that, like I would do on these videos, I want to quickly make a quick statement so that you guys understand this. I am not against the vaccine. I think it actually working. I've seen data. I've actually looked through data of different countries that were suffering. Take, for instance, India and what have you. And they started taking the vaccine. Over 497 million people have been vaccinated in India, which is about half. And, you know, the death rates, they dropped. Hospitalization dropped. So I'm not against the vaccine whatsoever. However, I would like people to understand one thing. Where I stand when it comes to the vaccine is that the choice should be everybody's. Like, the choice should be on your own hand. You want to know why? Because there's a lot of things that has been put out there from reputable sources, which we will look at today, to justify that this choice should be in your hands and nobody else's. So in order for us to go forward, I want people to know that I'm not making any claims about the vaccine. I'm only talking about policies that are regarding the vaccines and my own personal opinion, okay? So with that aside and with that out the way, let's look at the report of what happened between this woman and this judge so that we can get a bit of a context of what I am talking about. I'm pretty sure some of you might have seen this report, but for the sake of those of you who might have not seen it, let's check this out.
Fox 32 exclusive tonight. A mother says that a Cook County judge has taken away her parental rights after learning that she's not vaccinated.
Dane Placco is live at Daly Plaza with this story. Dane?
Yeah, and what all parties agree is a very unusual, if not unprecedented step. A Cook County judge here at the Daly Center has stripped a Chicago mom of her parenting time because she's refused to get the COVID vaccination shot.
I miss my son more than anything. It's been very difficult. I haven't seen him since August 10th.
August 10th, that's the day Rebecca Furlid appeared in court via Zoom along with her ex-husband for a child support hearing involving their 11-year-old son. Now, the two share custody, or had shared custody, in parenting time, 50-50. She says out of the blue, Cook County Judge James Shapiro asked her whether she'd been vaccinated. She told him no, she had not, because she's had bad reactions to vaccines in the past. Judge Shapiro then ordered that she be stripped of all parenting time with her son until she gets vaccinated. Over the past 2 weeks, she's been able to talk to him on the phone and via video call, but she has not seen her son in person. Furlid is now appealing that order, saying the judge has no business taking away her parenting rights simply because she's not vaccinated.
I think it's wrong. It had nothing to do with what we were talking about, and he was placing his views on me and taking my son away from me.
But in this case, you have a judge without any matter before him regarding the parenting time of the child deciding, oh, you're not vaccinated, you don't get to see your child until you are vaccinated. That kind of exceeds his jurisdiction.
Now, we talked to the attorney representing the father, Jeffrey Leving. You'll be hearing from him next hour. He says they were as surprised by this as anyone, but they support that decision by the judge, saying that given the pandemic, the child should be protected from an unvaccinated mother. We also reached out to the judge and the chief judge's office. They say they cannot comment on this case because it is ongoing. Live at the Daly Center, Dane Placco, Fox 32 Chicago.
So a couple of things that I want to highlight there. First of all, they participated in a child support hearing. They weren't really talking about the custody. They were participating in a child support hearing. I think the custody was already settled. They were having some kind of next to 50-50 custody between them. So it wasn't an issue. But then the judge decided to ask her what's her vaccination status. And then when she told the judge ordered her no longer to see her son. As at the time that this story was breaking out, it had been 2 weeks and she hadn't seen her son at all. All right, so basically the judge made up his own mind strictly based on his own views of what is going on. Now, the question is this: what's the purpose? And this is the question that I want to ask everybody when it comes to these policies and why these people are making their decisions, because in my own personal opinion, that's a little bit extreme. What was the rationale behind the judge making this? Was to keep the child safe, right? The rationale is to keep the child safe, right? And we've been hearing so far so good from experts like Dr. Fauci, Rochelle Walensky. Listen to the experts, listen to the experts, listen to the experts. And today, I want us to consult the experts. Center for Disease Control and FDA, if they are giving you information from their website, I think that it wouldn't be questionable, right? Nobody's going to question it, right? Okay, fine. Based on this, because they are the sources that are allowed. If whenever you want to find out about COVID, whenever somebody's giving in information on Facebook, if Facebook is referring you to anybody, they're going to refer you to CDC. So I want us to refer to CDC on this particular matter so that we can see for ourselves what CDC is saying, if the rationale behind what this judge has done is correct or not. So basically, this is what CDC says. If you Google this, possibilities of getting the COV illness after vaccination, well, you would see a lot of highlights there. They talk about how the vaccine is the best way to actually fight against the COV pandemic. Like, that's debatable. It's one of the ways, and it's a good way to actually fight it, but that's not the debate at hand. I want you guys to go to the third highlighted item on this particular thing. I think the third or the fourth. Anyway, so let me read this out to you clearly so that you can understand this. For people who are vaccinated and still get infected, it means that if you're vaccinated, you can still get infected, i.e. breakthrough infections. Anytime you hear about breakthrough infections, it means people who got COVID were vaccinated. And 2 weeks ago, I saw Dr. Rochelle Walensky of the CDC. She's the director of CDC, and she was at, She was at Fox News, and Fox News talked about 65,000 people breakthrough cases, which means that there have been 65,000 people between January and June who had breakthrough cases. After being vaccinated, they still caught COVID, right? And that number is rising because that was about 2 or 3 weeks ago anyway. So the next line that I want people to put in mind very, very carefully is this. This is why if you are vaccinated or unvaccinated and live or work in an area with substantial or high transmission of the COV, you as well as your family and community will be better protected if you wear a mask when you are indoor public places, where you are in indoor public places. So this is them telling you that you would be better protected. So in other words, whether you are vaccinated or unvaccinated, you should be wearing a mask is CDC's recommendation, which means the rationale behind
that only the unvaccinated are spreading this COV
is false. It's wrong. And based on these false premises is what this judge had made the decision on. This decision was based on false premises because if you're vaccinated, you can still spread it. And this is not me making this claim. This is what I read from CDC, right, out to you. And I'm going to put the link in the description section below so that you can read it for yourself and not just say, hey, Saya is giving us misinformation, because I am definitely not giving you misinformation. This is coming from CDC itself. So having said that about this man deliberately made up his mind to make this decision because, in my own personal opinion, I think it's about perception. And where we are at in the world today, everything is all about perception. When it comes to vaccinated people and unvaccinated people, there is a perception that people who are
unvaccinated
are Trump-loving, conservative, right-wingers, crazy white supremacists who want to destroy the world. That's the premises right now. And I think that's the angle of this judge. Even the other lady said it herself. And the funniest thing was that when the judge put this order out, the husband was flabbergasted, and so was the husband's lawyer. But the funny thing now is the husband's lawyer and the husband decided to support the judge because it will be more beneficial for him to be able to get the custody of this child. And at the end of the day, this is setting a dangerous precedent because other people are out there seeing this case. This case made national news and a lot of people saw it. And then some people are deciding to adopt the same thing. Maybe use this as a case. Regardless of the fact that, look, if the father is not wearing a mask around this child, even if he's vaccinated, if he gets hit by the new variant out there, the Delta variant, he's going to catch it. He's going to catch the cough, and he's going to be able to give it to the child. So is the child any safer with the father than the child is safer with the mom? I don't think so. There are so many reports coming out to show that that's the case, that they're neither safer with either one of them. The safest he can be is if both of them don't have the cough. It's as simple as that, because it has been determined from what I read from from CDC, that even if you are vaccinated, you can still catch the cough and you can still spread the cough. So the rationale is wrong. So the main essence and the main point I'm trying to make here is this. Stop demonizing people and stop assuming that these people are going out there to kill people. I saw on CNN trying to compare people who aren't taking the vaccines to drink drivers. I also saw on some stations and some people who are supporting of the vaccine, I'm not saying don't support it, were saying things like, well, if you get sick from the cough and you go to the hospital, well, you shouldn't be treated. That rationale is one of the most stupid and dumbest things I've ever heard. I heard an influencer say that, right? So basically, it's the dumbest idea I've ever heard because people don't choose to get the cough. People don't choose to do that. People choose to drink and drive and become public hazard, but nobody chooses to go get the cough. Unless maybe if you're Candace Owens, who said she swore that she tried to get the cough from her husband because her husband had it, but she never did. And of recent, she said she has had 50 tests and they've all come out negative. She never got it. So there's that kind of a person. But besides that, everybody else, nobody wants to get the cough. It's not a good experience, even if you survive it. It's not a good experience. That's why it's been advised that people should go and get the vaccine. Like I said before, I'm not against it, but once again, it's up to you. It should be up to you. The mandates are bad, and I think the vaccine passports that they're starting to introduce in some countries like Israel and probably maybe even Canada is starting to introduce that. America wants to do it in some parts. I think New York, maybe California, and so on and so forth. And also Australia might be introducing such a thing because the Premier of New South Wales has said that maybe such a thing would be introduced. So I'm not for all those things because I don't want to have to show my medical status because I want to get groceries or I want to go to the gym or do something like that. But anyway, I think I've talked about this a little bit enough. I want to know what your rationale is regarding this whole thing. I want to know what you think about this judge. Do you think that the judge did what was right? Because obviously it was wrong. And now the judge has rescinded it and given her back her rights to actually see her child. And that's the right thing to do. And when it comes to the vaccine, I want to state this. It's always a gray area. Some people have taken the vaccine, even though they're minute, they're little, and it had adverse effect. Some people have died after taking the vaccine, right? And some people have still been hospitalized after taking the vaccine. Don't you think that it is funny that when people die after taking the vaccine, that the news or media would always say that they had these comorbidities? They would add that they had an underlying sickness. But when people die and they didn't take the vaccine, they'll just tell you they died, period. They would make a big noise about it without letting you know that these people had some underlying sickness or the other. It's good for you to go and check your health status, know what's best for you through your doctor, through your GP, to be able to get the best advice that suits you. You know, because I feel if you're being mandated, whoever's mandating you to do it needs to be liable if something happens to people. That's just my thought. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, ding that bell for notification. And I'm going to be talking to you guys again real soon. But until then, it's peace and Saya's out of here. Catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye now.